I've been around for 23.6 million minutes. That's a real long trip and I'm not even finished. If we average 40 million, can I assume there are more to come? I've been around for 23.6 million minutes, each one 60 seconds, but none of them the same. 'Cause I recall the clocks in all my classes ticking slow as molasses and spinning like a hurricane when I was having fun. But you can't bite off more than 1 minute at a time, and you can't stretch them out to forever. And these millions of minutes are nowhere near sublime if they're merely a unit of measure. Living will only allow the minute we're living right now. I've been alive for 23.6 million minutes. I got a brand new watch for my 45th Christmas, so I can keep an eye on how they're passing and maybe catch them before they fly away. But you can't hold a minute 'cause you can't hold on to time, and you can't stretch them out to forever. And these millions of minutes are nowhere near sublime if they're merely a unit of measure. Living will only allow the minute we're living right now is all we need. It's the only thing that's guaranteed. To time, and you can't stretch them out to forever. And these millions of minutes are nowhere near sublime if they're merely a unit of measure. Living will only allow the minute we're living right now. Thanks.
Isn't that gorgeous? Yay! Woo!
You're so sweet.
Oh. And who does that? Who sits down and figures out how many?
Please join me in prayer. As we step into that space where we recognize that curiosity is our superpower, we also recognize that the world is our oyster. We are one with the power that is unlimited, and we have the world as an oyster. All possibility is available. We give thanks this afternoon for all of our musicians, our practitioners, our hospitality team. We give thanks for all who are here in this sanctuary to celebrate the limitless possibility of the one life that permeates all creation. I know that Reverend Jen will deliver us a message straight from Spirit as it flows through Reverend Chen to give everyone listening to this message what it is that they need to hear for the nourishment of their minds, souls, and bodies. I give thanks for this life. And together we affirm this by saying, and so it is. The first of our words of inspiration come from Dr. Marissa Pay. I choose to see everything that happens as an opportunity to plant a seed of love, sometimes fertilized by pain and sadness, ultimately giving birth to a skill or quality that I didn't know that I had, thereby creating more color and beauty in my garden of life. From Eknath Aswaran, as you dive deeper into consciousness, you will make the discovery that your needs for your personal satisfaction and prestige are not here just for your personal satisfaction and prestige, but for enriching the lives of others around you. With the expression of consciousness comes a flood of loving energy that transforms your life and the world around you. From our founder, the Honorable Dr. Ernest Holmes, we may throw ourselves with complete reliance upon the laws of nature, and they will respond if we use them correctly. Our belief neither created nor can it change natural laws. It merely changes our attitude toward them and and redirects the changes, and therefore changes their reaction to us. Jesus plainly taught us that we can break the chain of cause and effect our own misdeeds have created if we turn from these misdeeds. Therefore, the same law that closed our prison doors, reversed, can open them. Freedom and bondage are two ways of using one law.
So this afternoon we're asked to consider an oyster. You see, the life of an oyster is painful, uncomfortable. The sand becomes an irritant to the oyster. And the oyster transforms the sand into a beautiful pearl by coating it with its own essence. If the oyster didn't choose to do this and didn't address the grain of sand in this way, if the oyster, let's say, went into avoidance instead, we would not have this beautiful, precious jewel that we know as a pearl. So the oyster, in its efforts, gives the world a beautiful gift. And in the process of that transformation of that grain of sand, that irritant, the irritation goes away as the pearl is developing. We're going to think about this at a deeper level this afternoon. We're going to give ourselves some opportunity to consider this throughout this week. You see, we each have the opportunity to transform the world. We can do so by addressing what is causing discomfort in our own lives. The question that I have for each of us today is, are you willing to endure the pain? Are we ready to take on that discomfort for whatever time frame it's going to be with us as we choose to transform it into something beautiful and something possibly sacred? We are reminded in this that we, each one of us, is the change that we wish to see in this world. And when we're presented with a situation in our lives that is uncomfortable, painful, ugly, unwelcome, we can transform it. We begin this with the inner work that each of us is put here, placed here, to do. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, tells us this: we do not change all of the patterns of our thoughts in a moment. Rather, it takes place little by little, until gradually the old thought patterns become transformed into new ones by some inner alchemy of the mind. We're reminded to slow down. Quit being in a hurry. Be patient with the process. You will not walk out of here today with all of these wonderful new ideas. Go home this evening and crawl into bed and wake up tomorrow in a different place, in a different space, with everything handled. It doesn't work that way. The key word is we're working at it. We're working through it. I think our greatest challenge today is that we live in a world of instant gratification. I talk about this all the time. I'm reminding myself of this all the time, that I have to let this go. Change, real change, is not instantaneous. The process takes time. It takes constant positive influence. We must read positive information. We must read books and listen to tapes and music and sound that is uplifting to us. We must have conversations with people that are like-minded to how we are, that are going to support us in this process as well. Because what we're striving to do is break the old bad habits. I remind you here to be kind and gentle with yourself, remembering the goal. What is it you're striving for? Forgive the habitual behaviors. Forgive the times that you react, and allow yourself to be gentle with yourself and tender. There's a country western song that came to mind as I was working on this talk, and the words are, I'm in a hurry to get things done. I'm not going to sing it. If you were waiting for me to sing, forget it. Let me start over. I'm in a hurry to get things done. I rush and rush until life's no fun. Yeah, that's what happens when we rush. That's what happens when we hurry. And we create this discombobulated mess of mass and chaos in our lives, and we wonder how that happened. Well, maybe you were going too fast. Maybe we weren't being patient with ourselves. Think about this for a second. Has there been a time in your life when you jumped into something without thinking it over? Has there been a time when you were just in action? Now, someone told me years ago that I am a spatial thinker and I'm very highly spontaneous. I don't know that I had to be told that, because I think I've proven it over and over and over again, but I will get an idea, or I will be listening to someone share an idea, and I can already see the end result, and I'm ready to run. Now, years ago, I worked with a trainer who annoyed me, but he was a great guy, and he would remind me to kind of pull back. And one day we were talking about something we wanted to do within the call center, and we got this idea, and I said, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. We're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And he said, whoa, wait a second. First of all, is this something that should come from the training department, or is this something that we should talk to the supervisors about, and the supervisors should be a part of this process? And I wasn't as appreciative as I could have been in that moment, but I had to stop and take a breath and go, okay, what he just explained to me was my idea, our idea, wasn't ours to do. We could share the idea, we could incorporate the support of others in the work center, but it wasn't ours to launch, because we would have been stepping on a whole lot of toes. I was so grateful for him in that moment. So think about that. Someone, something, some condition is pushing you to hurry. There's something going on in your thinking that maybe you're running out of time and you're rushing into it. We have a challenge or a problem that we're faced with and we think we have to solve it right now. And the truth is, we can take a deep breath. We can pause. We can contemplate. We can take a moment, or 10, or 20, or 23.6 million of them to get ourselves to where we need to be at that moment in time. Dr. Ernest Holmes also tells us this. Nature will not let us stay in any one place too long. Nature demands the change in order that we may advance. When the change comes, we should welcome it with a smile on the lips and a song in the heart. So, what this message is for us today is we get to a place where we've gone through a lot of change, a lot of heartache, a lot of overcoming, a lot of recreating. Oh my gosh, and we're tired, and we just want it to stop, and we don't want it to change anymore. And I'm sorry to tell you, it's not going to work that way. And when we get to that place, what we do is we start to attach ourselves to the way things are. We start to attach ourselves to certain people and certain relationships. And then something happens and they shift, they go away, they move, they take a different job, whatever. And then we feel lost, and then we feel angry, and then we feel upset. And so we want to be really aware of this and know that change is a good thing. This community, New Dawn, has been through massive change. Just in the 4.5 years that I have been here. And I know that when I came here and told you I love change, it would have been really great for you to start blaming it all on me, but hey, I didn't have a lot to do with it at all, because I didn't have squat to do with that pandemic. Trust me, I didn't even see that one coming. So what we look at is we look at the fact that if we don't change, if we hold back, if we resist, we begin to wither. We begin to die. And we want to look at what is it going to take to keep our vision on the goal, what we want to be, how we want to get there, and on the changes that need to come along in the process. And when we hold back, when we resist, we become disgruntled. We become agitated. We start to feel an emptiness sometimes in the heart. We start to find fault. We start here. We start to find fault with ourselves. That's the first place we go. And then we start to find fault in everybody else out there. And then we start to find fault in the world in general. You see, the fire and passion that is within you is waiting to be unleashed to reveal God's highest idea of who you are. It's expressing through each one of us. The oyster opens up to the gift within whenever it comes in contact with fire. Now, I have never eaten an oyster, and I promise you I never will. However, I have seen people with them, and when the shell is, the shell, they're taking these knives and they're prying, and it's this. You can see there's a whole lot of energy going into it to try to pry it open, and all you have to do is put it close to the fire. As soon as that oyster comes close to heat, it just opens up. So do you. So does each and every one of us. When we get too close to the flame of life, when we tap into the flame within, we begin to open up. And what that does for that disgruntledness is it goes away. And what shows up instead is excitement, elation, passion, purpose, all the wonderful things that I can make and create in my life come alive for me in that moment, in that space, and in that place. So what's waiting for you? What is within you that is still waiting to be unleashed? What is that passion, that purpose that you were destined to bring forth and you just haven't yet? Maybe you haven't had the opportunity. Maybe you've been in too much of a hurry. Maybe you've resisted it. Only you can answer that. That purpose has nothing to do with your personality, your gender, the year you were born, who your parents are, the color of your skin. It has to do with that soul energy, that essence within each and every one of us. I told you a moment ago that the oyster uses its own essence to transform that grain of sand into a pearl. What are we doing to transform that irritation that's showing up in our lives? You know, I had a conversation with someone recently, and some of you have had conversations with me where I've been working with you on careers and jobs and family and different things. And so you know how I respond to a lot of things. I get pretty excited. And so this individual I'm talking to is telling me about their vision for their life and something amazing that they could create. And I grabbed a hold of that, and I'm going 90 miles an hour in this conversation about all the people that, you know, here's what we get to pray for, and that the right people are going to come forth, and that this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. And as soon as I started generating that energy, I watched this individual kind of sit back away from me, like pulling back, and began to give me every single argument they possibly could as to all the reasons why none of this is going to work. And I had to stop for a second and go, well, so here's the thing. You told me what you want. You're pretty excited about it. And I can support you. Tell me what you need from me. Because I'll plot it all out for you and scare you, because that's what I was doing in that moment. Because sometimes we have those visions. Some of us have visions that have been with us since childhood. And we keep, oh, no, not yet. Nope, it's not right. It's not the right time. Oh, no, I'm not ready for that just yet. And we keep pulling back. What I'm here to tell you is we've got to stop that. And maybe it's just taking a few small steps to get there. Not a giant leap, just a few small steps. There's a story about a man who used to walk his dog around a lake every Sunday morning. And one of the things that he noticed week after week after week was there was a woman, and in the story it's elderly, so that she was probably my age, but we're just going to go on past that. So there was this elderly woman sitting down by the lake on a bench that he saw every single Sunday. And she had something next to her that kind of looked like a little basket or a little kind of a cage kind of a thing. He couldn't quite tell what it was. And finally, the curiosity just got the best of him. And so one day, he and the dog walked over to her to see what she was doing, and he noticed that she was holding in her hand a small turtle. And in her other hand, she had a sponge, and she was cleaning the shell of the turtle. And he asked her, he said, if you don't mind, can I ask you what you're doing with these turtles every week? And she smiled, and she explained to him that she cleaned their shells because any algae and scum that builds up on the shell reduces the ability for the turtle to absorb heat, and it slows down their ability to swim. It can also corrode their shells, and it will cause it to weaken over time. And the man was impressed and surprised, and as the woman continued, she said, I do this every Sunday to help the turtles. And the man said, but don't turtles live most of their entire lives with algae on their shells? And she agreed. That was true, yes. And he said, well, then you're so kind to do this, but are you really making a difference? Because if most turtles don't have people around like you to clean their shells, they're kind of going to live with this anyway. And the woman just laughed. And she looked down at the small turtle in her lap, and the turtles that were in the kind of it was like a little trap cage where she was catching them so that she could clean them. And she looked down at the turtle in her lap, and she says, well, young man, I absolutely believe if this turtle could talk, he would say, I'm making all the difference in the world. Our quote here from Dr. Seuss says, to the world you may be one person, but to one person you may be the world. We have these desires and these aspirations to make a difference. And we think we have to go out and impact the global world at one swift swoop. And if we can't do that, then we've failed. And we give up so easily. And I'm here to tell you, we only have to find that one situation, that one condition, that one turtle, if you will, and do the work that we can do there and allow that to manifest at a greater level. No one of us can change the world, but every one of us can make a huge difference in one person's life by helping. Mahatma Gandhi said, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." Oh my goodness. What that means is that if I want to change the world, I have to change me first. I have to start the inner work right here. I have to be willing to change the way I look at things. I have to be willing to change the way I talk about things, the way I react, the way I respond. I have to be willing to continue to do my inner work day after day after day, devoting time to my spiritual practices so that I can be available, so that I can be in support of the world. I think too often we want everybody to change it for us. Isn't that why we have a government? Wasn't that supposed to be their job? Don't we vote these people, don't we vote these people into place so they can make all these changes and make our world better? Don't we select and elect the leaders that we do because we want them to fix it? Don't we look for teachers to make the changes for our children? And the truth is, it's right here. It's been right here all the time. We make decisions around the fact that nothing's ever going to change. What a sad state of mind that is. We say that we've gone too far in the wrong direction. We've gone so far out there, we'll never get it back. We'll never get back the things we want to get back. We say things that it doesn't really matter. We get grumpy, and we sit in our homes, and we watch some news channel 24/7, and we complain. And the answers aren't there. And they never will be. So the thing that we want to look at this week is to take small steps. What is the one little thing you can do today? Then what is the one little thing you can do tomorrow? For me, it's simply going out into the world and interacting with the people I run into and talking to people in line. Any time, any place, any space where I'm with another person, I'm going to talk to them. I am not one of those people, I know this is going to surprise you, I'm not one of those people that get on the elevator and face the door and don't talk. I'm not that person. I come into the elevator, I'm facing the people in the elevator, and I start having a conversation. Now, they may all get off on the next floor. I don't care. I'm here to connect. That's part of my job. That's part of who I am. So allow yourself this week to follow through with the appropriate action for the change that you seek. Take a close look at your personal world and allow that revelation to guide your actions out into the greater community. Because when those little turtles get back in the water, they're going to tell all their friends about this amazing woman who's showing up every Sunday. And now their friends have an opportunity to swim to the shore and greet her and let her take care of them as well. And pretty soon you'll be working in that rich environment, in that beautiful space of supporting so many people, including yourself. Fred Rogers, we look at people who are successful, who are just absolutely soaring through life, and we think, oh my gosh, that person was just given so many wonderful things. They came from a family of money. They are so talented. They have all of these wonderful skills. They didn't even have to strive. That's not true. That is simply not true. Every single one of us has some discomfort in our life. And what I'm here to remind us of today is don't ignore that. Don't pretend it doesn't exist. Look directly at it. Don't make any excuses for why it's here and why you can't seem to do anything to change it. Bring it front and center in your perspective, and take the time to go into that heart space, into your consciousness, and consider, what would it take? What do I need to do? What's my next step? And allow your curiosity to reveal even greater possibilities. And what will happen is that thing that's irritating you, the thing that's causing you pain, will begin to dissipate. It'll begin to change. It'll begin to become something more. So my question is, how do you respond when you're faced with pain, challenge, discomfort? Do you crawl back into bed? Well, that's okay if you do it for a little while, but just don't do it ongoing. Do you hide from the problem? Look around you. There is inspiration for us everywhere. Everywhere. I've noticed something with some of the TV shows that are coming out. There's a few on Apple TV, and I don't know what other programs. But anyway, there's some shows that are coming out, and all of them, some of them are nuts and they're just wonky, but there's always one person that's trying to show everybody a different way to look at it, a different way to look at things, to be more positive, to be more upbeat. And it's fascinating for me to watch these programs and see these people start to shift and change. And it's fun to watch it. I don't watch a lot of TV because I don't have time for that, but every now and then I find that very refreshing. So what can you do when you know it's going to hurt? When you know it's going to be ugly? Well, I learned a great lesson from my dog Lotus this week. I'm sitting in the house watching her, and it was whatever day, when it snowed, Wednesday. We had all that snow on Wednesday. So Thursday, she's going over to the doggy door, and what she does is she sticks her nose out. And there was, we had 6-8 inches on the back deck. So she sticks her nose out, and then she comes back in, and she makes this snort sound, and then she takes a deep breath, and she goes out the door. And I thought, oh my gosh, how beautiful. I need to reach out a little bit, test the waters, take a look at what this is, come back in. Maybe I need to snort. Maybe I just need to take a good deep breath and then just go for it and see what can happen. How beautiful to know that we have these wonderful reminders for us of how we can make it work, how we can take that next step. Mukhtar Aziz tells us this: some give up under pressure, while others rise up and undergo life-transforming experiences. The oyster responds beautifully to external pressure, giving birth to a priceless pearl. We all have a task to look at this week. How can we create the priceless pearl that is needed in our life? How can we be the shining light? How can we be the one who's willing to make the change, to transform, and to support? What will it take to endure, to go to that place of being pressured? What will it take to seek the birth of something greater than you ever imagined? What can you do to ensure this in your world? And how can we adopt the actions of the oyster? You see, all the challenge, all the pain, all the chaos is simply here to strengthen us. It's not here to take us out. It's not here to tear us down. It's here to help us get stronger. And it gives us purpose to grow and evolve. And it becomes that contributing factor to changing the world first, once we have changed ourselves. Please join me in prayer. Right here in this moment, right now, today, this afternoon, we just breathe in to this space. Breathing into this space and acknowledging all of the good that life has to offer, and also acknowledging the pain that comes with change. And what we are reminded of right here and right now is that all that we do, all that we are, every moment, every breath is in God and of God. Because that power, that presence, that truth, that light is with us, each and every one of us, all the time. How beautiful that is. How reassuring it is to know that even if I risk it, even if I stick my nose out through the door into the icy storm, I know God is with me. Even if I adjust the way I've been thinking, even if I shift the way I've been speaking, God is holding me in that space of light and love and beauty. What I know about this is that no one of us can fail. It's all good, it's all perfect, it's all beautiful, and it is all God. So we just give thanks. We give thanks for this knowing. We give thanks for this awareness. We give thanks for that inner strength within each of us that is moving us forward, that is supporting us in taking the small steps and creating the change in our own personal lives, in our family, in our spiritual community, and in the world beyond. How grateful we are for this. How grateful I am for this knowing. How grateful I am for these teachings that have given me so much for my life. And how grateful I am for every single member of this community and every single person on this planet, because each and every one of us is filled with the power and the presence of God. So knowing all of this, we simply let it go. Oh, we just breathe it out, knowing that it's all good and it's all perfect. We release it unto the law of mind, where it is already being made manifest. That thought, that idea, that vision coming forth for each and every one of us. And so we just wrap this up beautifully in love, and we release it knowing God has got it already. And we affirm it by saying together, and so it is.
Here we are upon the precipice. Yeah, we kinda made a mess of this. We just followed orders. The hands of fate held a gun to us and made demands of every one of us. We just followed orders. She's just a state of mind, excuses we've designed, and still we step in time. It's easier than going alone. We let her take the keys and drive us where she please. We ride the breeze as if we never had a choice of our own. And we named her Destiny. And we blame our destiny. There's a calling deep inside of us, the sound of what's satisfying us, and we can't ignore it. No, no, it's time to grow and be the Renaissance and move beyond our jaded nonchalance, 'cause we can't if we tap the source, we'll be a tour de force. We'll set the proper course. The automatic pilot was wrong. We'll be the remedy, a new reality. We'll rise above to see that we've been at the wheel all along. We can change our destiny. We can change our destiny. We can change our destiny. We control our destiny. We can change our destiny. We can change our destiny. We can change our, we control our destiny.
Hello, I'm Reverend Jen Wild, Senior Minister for New Dawn Center for Spiritual Living. New Dawn Center is a global community, and we welcome all people, all paths, all ways of thinking, all philosophies. So know that you are welcome here, and thank you for joining our online community.